Not only were they the first prospects in history to make it to the NBA through a private prep program like Overtime Elite, Amen and Ausar were the first twins in NBA history to be selected in the top 5 of the same draft. An unprecedented phenomenon that's only increased the hype of one of the most iconic draft classes in recent years.
The Detroit Pistons select Ausar Thompson. The Houston Rockets select Amen Thompson.
A lot depends on the career of the Thompson twins. Their current performance in the league is the biggest showcase to observe if an outside agency is able to develop talent in a more effective way than traditional means, an industry that could explode over the next few years, and a potentially huge rival to the NCAA. And the truth is that although it's extremely early to talk about expectations, it seems that Ausar's career could be very, very promising. While Amen has not been able to show many of his skills because of an ankle injury that's made him play only the first 4 games of the regular season, Ausar's managed to become one of the most valuable pieces of the Detroit Pistons. But what's clear is that probably neither of them would have reached the elite world of basketball without the support of the other. A few minutes separated Amen and Ausar in the draft, just as a few minutes separated them when they were born in Oakland, California on January 3rd, 2003. The children of Maya Wilson and Troy Thompson both share their unique middle name, XLNC, which functions as an acronym for excellence. As in many of these cases, sports blood usually runs in the family veins. The Thompson twins were the nephews of Mark Thompson, who represented Jamaica in the 400-meter hurdles at the 1992 Summer Olympics. Both twins and their parents moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, so that the brothers could play high school basketball 1 year early at Pinecrest School. And their impact was immediate, even though they were younger players than their competition. Both twins were starters since their arrival on the team, and Ausar averaged 17.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 2.6 assists per game during his sophomore year, earning second-team All-County honors, stats that increased to 22.6 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 3.4 assists per game during his junior year, in which he curiously won the Broward County Class Co-Player of the Year award in the state of Florida, along with his brother Amen. So as you can imagine, this performance brought the attention of many NCAA Division I colleges. And when I say many, I mean many. Partly also because ESPN experts gave Ausar 5 stars as a prospect with a rating of 90 out of 100. Colleges were willing to accept both twins at the same time, as all clues indicated that they weren't going to be separated during their remaining formative years. If you convinced one, you were taking 2 of the best prospects in their class for the entire country. It's a real bargain for any head coach. However, their decision was unheard of. In an era when the NCAA and its system is being heavily criticized by many basketball gurus such as LeBron James himself.
What are your thoughts on the college basketball scandal right now?
You know, these colleges are gaining off these kids.
Its dominance could be in jeopardy. Not only are options like the G League's Ignite team offering alternatives for athletes to get paid directly out of high school, but private programs specialized in athletic development are beginning to emerge. Overtime Elite is just the first case. A pioneering brand that managed to convince some of the most sought-after athletes around the world to join and is dominating the mock drafts moving forward. A brand that also pays their players for the name, image, and likeness, unlike the NCAA. Ausar, together with Amen, made the decision to join this program, a program that's allowed them to shine under the spotlight of being pioneers in this alternative path to the NBA. Ausar is precisely the player who stood out the most during the 2 seasons in which he was present in OTE, as he won the MVP of the finals of the program in both seasons.
The OTE MVP finals MVP, Ausar Thompson.
In fact, during his first year, he averaged 17 points per game and 10 rebounds per game in the best-of-3 series to lead his team to the inaugural championship. Ausar was OTE's only player to drop 30 points twice during the season, and as a guard, he led the league in blocking percentage at 4.4% and blocks per 40 minutes at 3.2. These samples were beginning to show the defensive potential of a player who's based his game on this side of the court, even in the NBA. Ausar was also 6th and 1st among guards in offensive rebound percentage at 9.2% and offensive rebounds per 40 minutes with 3.9 respectively. In his second year, he not only won the Finals MVP,
OTE Finals MVP to Mr. Ausar,
but also managed to win the regular season MVP trophy with averages of 16.3 points and 7.1 rebounds per game. But besides his intangibles and his good ability to score in overtime, the biggest progress from his first year was seen in the playmaking section. Ausar averaged 6.1 assists in his second season at OTE, which placed him as the second best passer in the entire circuit. All NBA scouts noticed Ausar's tremendous progress from his freshman to his sophomore year at the program, and he started climbing spots on the 2023 mock drafts, just like his brother. But fate separated them for the first time on June 22nd of this same year, when two different franchises relied on the talent of the twins. Amen was the 4th pick in the draft by the Houston Rockets, and Ausar was the 5th pick by the Detroit Pistons. However, there were always doubts about Ausar. While his defensive performance at Overtime Elite had been superb, many naysayers weren't confident that he'd be able to translate his dominance to the NBA. Not only that, but his innovative way of making it to the league was rated poorly compared to college basketball by some old heads. But the 6'6" forward and his bizarre playstyle were fortunate to land in an environment devoid of pressure. The Detroit Pistons were by far the worst team last season, and it would be a surprise if they don't finish as one of the 3 worst teams this season. A franchise that relies on young pieces with great potential like Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, or Ausar Thompson himself, and needs a lot of time to become competitive again. The Pistons have one of the 2 worst records in the league right now, and in fact didn't win a single game in all of November. A pessimistic season that is, however, offering these players the opportunity to improve. And Ausar is taking full advantage of the situation. His defensive versatility has allowed him to defend a wide range of different players, as his athleticism is able to cover up his lack of height in some matchups. But he's already shown plenty signs of being, almost immediately, an elite defender. The Pistons faced Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's Oklahoma City Thunder during the early stages of the new season, and naturally, Monty Williams decided to use Thompson to defend one of the players of the moment. Ausar was not only able to contain the Canadians' drives to the rim, which accounts for a large portion of the Thunder point guard's production, but on some actions, he did so with relative ease. His 7-foot wingspan coupled with his tremendous lateral quickness allows him to stay in front of the fastest players in the league. But on top of that, this twin is a disruptor, one of the fastest hand defenders in the league, and he's also capable of moving his feet at the same speed as a boxer, and all this at the age of 20. There are some things in basketball that can't be taught, not even when we're talking in terms of huge talent. Defense is a skill that also requires technique, work ethic, and above all, a huge predilection to watch film. But it also requires instinct, and that's precisely what cannot be worked on. Like some other elite defensive specialists in recent years, Ausar seems poised to make an impact on a team as soon as he arrives in the league. A story we've already seen with other prospects like Matisse Thybulle or even Andre Robertson a few years back. But if there's something that sets him apart, it's his offensive potential. Although his shooting's a work in progress, his playmaking ability coupled with his tremendous athleticism and ability to finish near the rim make his offensive potential increase tremendously. And just like in today's NBA, it's virtually impossible to stay in the league without good defensive ability. It's also almost impossible to stay in the league if you're not going to be able to offer something on offense. Ausar, however, can rest easy. A real two-way player for the future.